We have it's a phenomena that we all are inflicted by somewhere or another, is the fear of getting old and the fear of death. Who is not afraid of being old? Who is not afraid of dying? The question is, why are you afraid of getting old? Let me explain to you. First of all, it is built within the plan that HaKadosh Baruch Hu had planted, that the cells would rejuvenate themselves and a certain day start to fade away. So therefore, getting old is maybe the most natural thing that you can do. It's a sign, getting old is a sign that you are alive. And yet people are afraid of getting old. They put in Botox. You ever seen a person with Botox? It's ridiculous. The lips look like they got a fat lip. It's unbelievable. It is, we are so removed from the way we should live our lives that it's sad. What do I mean? Look, every cell in the billions of cells in our body, every cell has a specific job to itself where it's supposed to revive itself, and there's life. Every cell carries life with it. And yet, together with that, what happens is we don't live life. We always try to, not to die, but we're not trying to live life. We are compiled of conditions that we were conditioned by society, by people, we live out of fears. We deny our own body, our own cell. And that's, by the way, when you have stress, a lot of times you die. Because stress stops the natural process of rejuvenation of the cells. It restricts it. And it deforms it. And then, what happens when a person has cancer, right? When a person has cancers, a cell is supposed to live, and then the cell dies. When the cell stops dying and keeps on multiplying, you got a cancerous cell. So when you trying to do whatever you can to live, and you're not accepting the fact that you're going to get old and eventually disappear and take care of that in that manner, you in a way are operating like a cancerous cell. Let's say, for example, doctors would say, "Oh, you know what? We could extend your life to 500 years." They say now, if we could extend your life in 50 years, we could extend your life in 500 years. But what we're going to be? We're going to be all connected to like machines and tubes. You call this life? This is not life. And we are petrified of that. People are trying so hard not to get old. People are trying so hard not to die that they forget in the long run to actually live life. We forget to live life. We forget what's important in life. We forget the little things in life. We forget a nice bottle of wine on a sunset. We forget, to hug your wife, or to kiss your children, to enjoy, to go, to see. I'm not saying being a bum, but enjoy. Pick up the job that you like because you like to do so, not because it will bring you a lot of money so you could. By the way, which is so ridiculous. People want a good job with a lot of money, what they call a good job with a lot of money. So they can have a lot of money so they could retire at the age of 67. Well, first of all, they're never going to retire. And listen, it's a long way until you get to 67. And when you get to 67, you have no power anymore. Let me tell you that. You reach your peak at 40, you're doing okay at 50. After that, it's downhill. That's good. It's a sign that I'm alive. If I would deny that process, I'm not saying you should neglect yourself. You would deny life itself. We're running all the time. We are running and motivated out of fears all the time, not out of passion. Out of fear all the time. And then comes HaKadosh Baruch Hu and His greatness Says to us, Rabotai, wait. Sheshet Yamim, 6 days you're going to run like a chicken with no head. Uvashvei, Shabbat vayinafash. You're going to sit down. You're not going to talk about, there's nothing you can do. You can work. You're going to look at things around. You're going to sit with your family. You're going to look, Baruch Hashem, how blessed you are. Even if you are living with 4 kids in a studio apartment. Well, Baruch Hashem. There's a roof on your shoulder. There's a table. You don't have sofas. You have a table. So you have a table with your kids and your wife and your children, and you're happy, and it's wonderful. Because before you know, they're all flying out like birds out of the nest. I never understood it until actually one time in my backyard, a robin laid its eggs, and from the window we actually saw the process of that. It was so wonderful. And we saw the eggs hatching. It was amazing. And then the nest was like this big, and there were like 4 robin eggs inside, and they were already like big buffoons, those birds, and they were all in the nest. And then one time they just went floom, and they all flew out of the nest. And one shot, they all flew out of the nest and disappeared, and never came back. And that's what happens to us as kids. Shabbat shalom, Shmulik. That's what happens to us. You want a big house, you want this, you want that, and all of a sudden, boom, it's all gone. It's all over. If you live your life day by day of appreciation, of understanding it, it's so meaningless. When the time comes, you say, oh, Baruch Hashem, my kid is married, and moved out of the house, my kid is, you are accepting the process, and you're willingly handing over the baton, like in the Olympics when they run. You willingly handing it over. And that's okay. It's okay now to become older, and to, as they say, kick back and look. And it's amazing, I'll tell you, I didn't think that I would feel what I feel when I had a grandson. I thought, okay, so my daughter was pregnant, so Baruch Hashem, so the baby was born, and okay, I thought I'm going to play it cool. I'll be cool, because I knew when I have a child, my child was, so I thought it was going to be the same thing. Baruch Hashem, I have 7 kids, so it's not but it's not. And I'm so thankful for this grandson, because I come to realize that this child showed me that inside of me, in my heart, there's room for love that I didn't know that exists. It was a compartment inside of me that was closed, that I didn't know that it exists, because I was never a grandfather before. And I didn't know that there was the case. And all of a sudden he was born, and he opened up that place inside of me that I didn't know where. And now I have a special love to this child that I never had before. And it's the love of a grandfather. And I love it. And it's wonderful. And I come and I kiss him and I bother him and he cries and he pulls my beard, and it's okay because I'm the grandfather. And then time to come, here baby, take the kid. That's it. When you coming again? And I love it. And it's wonderful. And I don't need to prove that I'm still young. What do I want me to do? Wear tights and run in the street? Like those. You see these old men wearing those tights that they wear and running like sweating. They think they're like you go. You see the men that the skin is wrinkled already. They're all going shirtless. Hello, did you look in the mirror? You need to understand that as you get older, Kadosh Baruch Hu gives you other tools to utilize, then you become wiser. And believe me, you do become wiser if you let it. But if you stay, and if you deny it, and you're afraid of that, excuse me, what happens is, you deny your gift that Kadosh Baruch Hu give you as a wisdom, as an old person, and you stay a young buffoon in a wrinkled skin, and it's not a pleasant sight. So there's no need to be afraid of getting old. There's no need to be afraid of dying. As long as you live your life, as long as you have life. And again, comes Shabbat, and Shabbat allows you to do that. To sit back, to reflect, to understand, to let go, to see. Therefore, the people who don't do that are miserable. The people who cannot wait for Shabbat to end, the people who don't even keep Shabbat, they're simply miserable people because they never have this time to reflect and to allow to see how things actually developed. How am I going with my life? And how blessed I am with my life. And how great it is. And I don't need a bigger house. I don't need a bigger house. Maybe as a matter of fact, I need a smaller house. Look, the kids are growing, and so on and so forth. Where am I going with this? Where am I going with my life? Why do I need this? Why do I do what I do? When am I actually going to live life? So that's the beauty of Shabbat. The beauty of Shabbat is, Be'ezrat Hashem, you go with your grandson. First, you're going with your son. You're a young guy. You're a young guy. You're holding your son. You're walking with him to shul, you feel good. Then the son gets older, you get a little bit more bent, and now you're holding your grandson and you're walking with him to shul. And then you're ready to depart the world. If you live with that, it'll be easier for you to accept things. And I'm not saying to accept things out of like a loser mentality. I'm accepting everything and so on and so forth. No. To appreciate and to accept it and not to fight it, to actually enjoy it. And that's okay. And parents should understand that as well. Let the kids grow. Parents should allow their kids to grow. They give them room to grow. Don't confine them like bonsais. Let them grow. Let them blossom. And the same thing to you. So don't be afraid of getting old. If you have a little white hair here and a white hair there, don't worry, before you know it's going to be all white. But that's good. Gives you some kind of an idea that things are not going to stay here forever. And you're not going to stay 20 years forever. Baruch Hashem for that. Thank God for that you can't stay 20 years forever. Because if you stay 20 years forever, you'll die. I have a 19-year-old friend. And he's been 19-year-old for already 40 years. Or 30 years. He's dead, unfortunately. He died. We're both 19. You want to do that? No, we're getting older, slowly. We're getting older. And that's okay. So live your life and use this Shabbat, this coming Shabbat. Look, another Pesach is around the corner. And before you know, 50 days Shavuot, couple of weeks after that, few weeks after that, is already, a month after that is already, Shvaisa B'Tammuz, you turn your head Tisha B'Av, before you know, Chatanu lefanecha Rosh Hashanah, another year went by. So you don't have time. You don't have time, you don't have enough life to waste. Don't waste it. Live it. And have a Shabbat Shalom.